Please bear with me. I'm testing out my mic. I've been playing around with it for the last few videos. I've tried filming videos that I just post privately so I can just like test out the sound and stuff. So I think this is the first video where I'm filming it and going to actually post it live for people to see that I'm testing out what I'm doing with my mic. So please bear with me and my mic and my audio for the next few videos, and I'm just trying to make it work. Anyway, with that out of the way, hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the brand new Disney and Pixar movie Hoppers. It just recently came out a few weeks ago and Sam and I went to go see it. This movie follows a young girl named Mabel, and she is trying to protect wildlife. Specifically, she's trying to protect a area that she calls the Glade. It is a little wildlife area that her grandmother used to bring her to when she was a kid, and she feels very connected to this place. And the mayor and the city want to pave over it and get rid of it and make way for a new highway extension. So this movie follows Mabel as she steals the beaver robot from her teacher's Hopper program, which essentially puts her brain into a robot beaver, and she tries to use this technology to try to save the Glade. I was so unsure going into this movie. I had heard so many things. I didn't really see many reviews, but people who had seen reviews were telling me that all the reviews they were seeing either said it was bad or people were saying it was amazing. And so I was very unsure going into this movie. I was not expecting to love it. I was not expecting to hate it. However, coming out of this movie, I absolutely loved this movie. This was probably my most favorite Pixar movie as of recent, with the exception of Elemental, just because I absolutely loved Elemental. I really, really genuinely loved this movie. I thought it was so well done. I loved the characters. I loved the character development we got from a lot of the main characters, specifically Mabel, and then also the Beaver King George. I thought them specifically were really well brought out and developed and done on screen. It was so good. I was giggling my head off throughout this whole movie. There was so many hilarious little jokes and lines, and I really want to see this movie again. I actually plan to see this movie again with my sister and her kids, because there was a lot of parts that I feel like there was things that I missed because things were said very fast or like kind of over top of other things. And so I feel like this deserves a second viewing to really pick up on everything that was kind of said in background. There was so much going on and this movie was so funny. Sam and I were both giggling the whole movie. There were so many adorable little moments and jokes, and there's one part in particular that Sam has already found the clip from that specific part, and he's been playing it over and over and over again because he just thinks that one particular part is absolutely hilarious. One thing about the humor of this movie is I feel like all ages will appreciate it. Like, there's definitely a lot of jokes that are for children and aimed towards children, but there are also a lot of jokes that are aimed towards adults. No like super like innuendo-y jokes or anything like that, so I feel like there's not many jokes that like would go over a child's head, but even just the jokes that are said that even children will laugh at, I feel like adults will also enjoy. It just had a great balance that this movie had in terms of the jokes was really well done. I thought it was so good. And as I said, for the most part, this movie was about Mabel trying to save the Glade. So when I first went into this movie, I assumed that was going to be the main focus of this movie, was learning about wildlife conservation and protecting wildlife. And yes, while that was a big part of the movie and also was Mabel's main motivation for everything she did in this movie also delved into a lot of other things. It delved into feelings you may experience when you lose a loved one. It went into hurting people that you care about and the consequences of hurting and lying to people you care about. I even really felt like there were certain things about this movie that could even talk about having good communication with people, because at the very beginning of the movie, we see Mabel trying to talk to the mayor, Jerry, and he's the one who's like heading up this highway project. And at first, all we ever see of them is them yelling at each other and bickering at one another. And then eventually they kind of learn to communicate with each other by just talking and not fighting the whole time. I feel like that's a really great lesson for everybody to learn, is like how to have good communication in order to not necessarily get everything you want, but to be able to compromise and discuss things in a positive way. The voice acting in this movie was amazing. Like I said, the characters were so great. I loved them. They were hilarious. They had so many funny moments and also so many like sad moments that made me tear up. There was one part of this movie in particular where I was genuinely tearing up. This movie did not have me sobbing my face off like other Pixar movies, like Onward and Toy Story 3 and stuff like that, but I definitely did tear up at a specific moment of this movie. Even just like the animation and the way that they did certain things. Obviously, when Mabel is in the body of the beaver and she can communicate with other animals, they made the animals way more cartoony. They had like the big bold eyes, but then when she couldn't communicate with them any longer and she was no longer hopping in the beaver body, they were a lot more like animal-like and stuff, specifically in the eyes and stuff. And there's one character in particular who I won't spoil, but there is a character who isn't Mabel, but does use the hopper system in the movie. And when she communicates with this person, hopping as an animal, and the way that this character is designed in like animal form, I guess, is absolutely hilarious. Like, I think that got a very genuine chuckle out of the whole audience. And Sam and I went to like a 9 p.m. showing, so there was not many people in the audience. There was not many children in the audience, especially. And I'm pretty sure the whole audience was giggling at that specific part. I don't really have much to say. I thought this movie was fantastic. I really liked it. I'm hoping this movie is successful, and I'm hoping it leads to more original projects from Disney and Pixar, because as much as I'm excited for all the sequels and stuff coming out, I always love when Disney and Pixar do original projects. That's why I was so excited to go see this movie, and I can't wait to go see it again with my sister and her kids, and just like I said, like try to pick up on certain things that I may have missed the first time through. But that was a short video, but that is going to be it. That is my review of the movie Hoppers. I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was so adorable. Also, I will say, just the feral side of myself, I literally launched my cup, my like pop cup. I literally launched it across the way at the sight of a baby raccoon in this movie. So it's just my feralness coming out. But anyway, that is going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, I would love it if you would like and subscribe. I post new videos every single Friday, and I'd love to have you here. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.